New on Curiosity Stream. How do you connect a 16th century potato to limitless energy production? Could Napoleon's toothpick have a direct link to a machine that predicts the future? And how can a 1700s conch shell chart a course to humans connecting their brains to the internet? James Burke's visionary series Connections returns for a new generation. Experience all new Connections. With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com. New on Curiosity Stream.
I'm James Burke. I'm going to take you on a journey through time.
James Burke's visionary series returns, reimagined for our time.
Now, this is all uncharted territory.
The Washington Post hails Burke as one of the most intriguing minds in the Western world. The New York Times raves he careens from one great moment in history to another.
Where do we want to go from here?
Experience all new Connections.
So what's the next connection?
With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
It's the pop culture field,
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast, sitting right at the intersection of weapons, action, the military, and pop culture.
I just want to be a part of that. Sorry.
You're good. Thank you. You're always welcome to join. Always welcome to join. My name is Cameron Fath. I am one of your hosts through this journey with you, and I am here with one of my good buddies,
Israel Wright.
Yes.
Am I in the good buddy tier? Have I graduated?
We're great friends.
Not just great friends, absolutely. For many years to come.
Yes.
Until that one thing that will tear us apart.
Until the one that breaks us up, our success.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely. Business partners.
Torn apart.
Never start a business with your friend.
Passion becomes obsession, and then
then just falls down that road. At least we called it.
That's right. Yeah.
So the first step of recognition of an issue is
recognizing that it's there.
Yeah, recognizing that it's even an issue. But anyways, we're going to pile drive right through that friction point. And you know how we're going to do it? By answering more of your guys' questions.
Yes, the fan question episode is one of our favorites because it's easy. It takes no preparation.
It's really easy. Does not take any preparation.
And we genuinely like answering all your questions. We love getting emails and notes. And I got this really touching one more recently from a young guy, and he was just saying that, he really looks up to us, and, his dad was in the military, is in the military and stuff. Anyway, just like he got inspiration from us, and he's, we've inspired some people, Cameron, like legitimately, like join the military, follow their passion, career path, things like that.
Nice to hear. It is good to hear. It's very fulfilling, and that's not just an egotistical thing to feed my ego, which is already ginormous.
Yeah, you don't need any help with that.
I don't need help with that. No, I don't. But it is awesome. We say it every episode. We enjoy you guys reaching out, and we enjoy responding and interacting with you guys. And it makes us feel good to let us know that we've made an impact on you.
Yeah.
So, we touch you. You touch us.
It's all very touching.
It's all a lot of touching.
Good touch.
Feeling. Good touches. Nice, appropriate touching. But, are you ready, man?
Without further ado,
let's get into this.
The re-questioning.
The revenge of the questions.
This time,
or
it's
the
personal.
answers. The revenge. Yeah, this time it's personal.
The first question we have is Johnny G 1990 on Instagram. He's asking, what fictional movie, army, or universe would you like to be in? This is actually, people asked this a couple times. They like, if you could imagine yourself in a fictional movie, fictional war, fictional universe from a video game, movie, pop culture, what would that be in?
Well, I already know your answer.
I mean, probably aliens. Well, see, here's the thing. There's just subtle difference between actually being in that situation and imagining, because I love the movie Aliens, obviously, but man, that's a sucky situation they're in, man.
Yeah.
And who would I be? Hopefully, I'd be like, nobody survives. Like almost nobody survives.
Sorry, Johnny, but that's a very vague question. You don't have to be in that very specific situation.
Sure.
If we're going off the doctrine here.
Right. You're right.
If my interpretation of this law.
That's right. Which we are making up right now.
Right now. It says, what fictional movie, army, or universe? Just part of it. So you can be part of it. Is it Continental Marines?
Yeah, Colonial
Continental.
The Continental Marines
Continental.
That's like
fixed
heresy.
bayonets, cheerio!
1776.
So
the
I
year of
fixed
our
my
Lord.
baronet and I charged
My baronet?
invader.
I fixed my bonnet,
Yeah,
my
those
bonnet.
damn redcoats.
Well, if we're talking about a universe, I'm going through puberty right now.
That's okay. It's a little late. 40, 30 something years too late.
Yeah, that's right. 40, but thank you. My birthday's in 16 days.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Another year closer to death.
That's right. That's good. That's a good way of putting it. The Marvel universe, man. But I would want to be somebody with superpowers, you know?
That is cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like
didn't
Captain
think about
America or something like somewhere in like the super soldier program. I would like to have been like another super soldier, you know?
Oh, yeah. Just get yoked for free.
Yeah.
Does anybody not like... How can you be against steroids when literally people love Captain America? He literally is the perfect example of what happens when you give somebody steroids.
Right.
They literally just become a superhuman and are really fucking good at their job. They
and
stop-
really aggro.
Yeah, they literally...
It was like perfect steroids though, because it only happened once. They only had enough formula for one, you know, thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But not apparently.
I've never taken steroids. But literally, hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. Because I'm like more the olden days. Like I would love to be in a Viking military, or a Viking army and just pillage and get really good.
That was like their whole. It was a part of their whole culture was war, kind of like the Spartans, right?
Yeah, like that would be a great era to come. Actually, they did a lot of man on man. So I mean.
Dude on dude.
That dude on dude contact. Spartans wrestled naked.
Sweaty, oily wrestling matches.
I mean, that depends how you look at it. It's 2021. I could be into it. Who knows? But that would be, I'd probably go back in time and just be like sword on sword, spears and shields type of world.
That was when you had to really, what they call it, you know, you had to go up and grab your enemy by the belt buckle. You had to get real up close and personal. You know, today we got like long range rifles.
Yeah,
and
like you can
bombs
literally
and
just
stuff
be
like that.
sitting there, like smoking a cigarette or just in the porta potty, and all of a sudden, drone strike!
Yeah.
Boom, you're dead.
You're dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
But back then it was like, okay, how long is can I shoot this guy from like 100 meters away? Does my bow get that far?
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to close with and destroy the enemy with my hatchet.
You could kind of, you know, if we're talking about old time eras, you know, like anytime where any culture, like the you know, Knights of the Round Table kind of thing, you know, where it's like this honor, there was a code that you lived your life by. That's always something that's called to me. Or if you want to like combine it with a little bit of sci-fi, go to like the Warhammer 40K universe, be like a space marine or something like that, because you get the honor and you know, it's basically like space knights anyway. Yeah. But then you get a bolter rifle and you get to be genetically enhanced and like
steroids.
You know, yeah, exactly. That's steroid. We always come back to steroids, man.
Back to steroids, man.
We need to have favorite military steroid references in pop culture.
Yeah, literally. It all comes back to steroid. They just need to let the military do steroids and be really good. Because isn't the job literally being better than the other guy?
Yeah, you got to close with and destroy the enemy.
Yeah. By any means necessary.
Faster if you got steroids. I don't know if they make you faster.
We're not condoning steroids, people. I've never done steroids. But
speaking of which, we got our first sponsor, steroids.
D-Ball has sponsored this. Trend has sponsored this. Testosterone has sponsored the PCFM podcast. No,
this podcast is sponsored by Menergy.
Yeah, Menergy.
Turbo
Feed
Sport.
the beast. All right, let's move on to another.
Let's do it
before I go down a rabbit hole. Okay, this one is coming from Lucas via our email, and he says, when it comes to RASP, this one seems like a very specific question. When it comes to RAS, which is the Ranger Assessment and Selection Program, do you have to qualify physically before you sign up to become a Ranger? Or if you go with an option 40, do you have to test before you receive that contract? So, Lucas, let me just get into your question here. No, you do not need to qualify physically before you receive that contract. The only thing that is required of you, as far as my knowledge now, I mean, it's been 7 years since I did it. Actually, 6 or 8 now. 7 or 8 years. Math.
9, 10.
6, 9.
It's been 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
He's 45.
But no, you just need to qualify for your basic GT score, which is the score you get when you take your ASVAB test, which is your test before the military.
GT stands for General Technical.
Exactly.
There's different areas of knowledge that they test you on.
Yeah. And your general technical score is just a combination of math and science. Mm-hmm. So if you're good at math and science, I believe nowadays, when I was going through, I think it was 110 minimum. But now I think it's a 105 because they're getting lazy and they're taking anybody.
Yeah, just come on, get in here. Get in the door.
Just get in here. But yeah, you need a 105 to get the contract. but you will have multiple chances in RASP, and I'm pretty sure they will strip you of your contract if you can't pass the physical stuff in basic training. You need to maintain, I believe, or at least when I was going through, it's 80% in each of the scores, which is push-ups, sit-ups, and the 2-mile run. And then additionally, you need to be able to do, is it 6 pull-ups? I think it's 6 pull-ups. But yeah.
Actually, it's a side note. I was just looking this up the other day, and I think they changed it, like maybe in 2018. But it's not the push-up, sit-ups, 2-mile run anymore. It's almost like a CrossFit type of functional fit. The ACFT. There you go.
So the ACFT is the Army Combat Fitness Test. So it's replacing the old APFT.
You're like throwing a ball behind your back, and you're doing like
I've done it.
Double arm pull-ups. How is it?
It's good.
All right.
Yeah, I actually threw up.
I actually want to make a YouTube video where I do it.
Yeah, it's good. I'll lead you through it.
That'd be great. Yeah,
that'd be awesome. There's some things. It's really good, and like you have to do a lot of stuff in a certain amount of time. So it's not like you do a deadlift and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna take some break. No, it's like you have like a specific amount of time to do the next thing. And the worst thing you do is the sprint, drag, carry.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I threw up on, and it's like I maxed everything except for that. And the 2-mile run. So I got a pretty good score. I think I got like a 287 or like.
Is it still generally like 300,
out of 300
topping out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like only one person, I think, has maxed it so far in the military.
Oh, cool.
So it's a very good, it's actually a really good test. And they're having actually a lot of problems with it. They're doing a lot of messing with it because
people aren't making it.
Women are having a really hard time passing it.
Look, hey, listen, I'm going to say something right now. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to get it. Look, I took a vacation. I'm a new man. It's not, look, I love women. All right.
Yes.
I love strong women. If you know anything about my taste in pop culture, you know that I do. It's all about the standard, man.
Standards.
You can't lower the standard. We're talking about training a fighting force, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a mission, there's a task that needs to be done, that has to hold the standard, not, well, we got to get the numbers in there, I hope that everybody understands where I'm coming from with this because, it's all about the standard.
So the thing about it is it's an easy test. It's an easy test to pass.
Okay.
Because all the scores are just like the low. If you're just a shitbag, you can pass it. But to max it is extremely difficult.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, man, we can run you through it. It'd be awesome.
Yeah,
but, back to your question, Lucas. I'm pretty sure I was talking to my buddy who's one of the RASP cadre currently, and we actually went to RASP together. It's really funny how it's come like full circle.
Nice, man.
And he's telling him that he told me last time I talked to him that they're still doing the regular APFT because the Army Combat Fitness Test hasn't been fully integrated yet.
Okay.
But they're still doing the 80% in each of the push-ups, sit-ups, 2-mile run. But yeah, just if you can maintain that standards, great. You should be fine to get all the way to RASP.
Nice.
All right.
Next one. Will sent us an email asking if you were tasked with writing a movie about a real-world battle, like Black Hawk Down, We Were Soldiers, something like that, what would you write about and why?
Do you know what war doesn't get any credit?
If you're thinking what I'm thinking, it's the Korean War.
Yeah. Dude, nobody says shit about the Korean War.
They literally, I just listened to the audiobook version of this book called Devotion by Adam Makos. And I know that I got a buddy at Black Label Media. They did Sicario and stuff like that. And they were working on a movie way back when about this story. It's Jesse Brown, Tom Hudner. Jesse Brown was actually the first black naval carrier pilot in the history of the military.
Yes.
So it's kind of a big deal. And it's about their friendship, Tom Hudner, and they came from different parts of the country, and Jesse Brown's like sharecropper's son, Tom Hudner, like high society, and they became friends and they flew missions together in North Korea during the Korean War in 1950. And then, I don't want to get, if you Google it, you know what happens, but like Jesse Brown gets shot down in the mountains of North Korea during the wintertime, and Tom Hudner purposefully crash lands his plane and goes over there and tries to save him. It's a really touching story, and I wish that they would make even like a mini series, like an HBO mini series, because there's lots of other stories that the book covers of like the Marines on the ground and their stories and things like that. Just totally. I would totally do something that has to do with the Korean the Korean War, and I know that I probably wouldn't be able to get it financed by most of the studios in Hollywood because they're all in cahoots with the China. Yeah,
Oh, cahoots with China.
Yeah, they are. So you got Tencent, you got all these kind of companies and stuff like that are financing movies today, and I don't think that the Chinese people or Chinese I don't think that it would happen. You'd have to get it probably financed from someplace else. But man, Korean War, man, that'd be.
Mine go back to the Korean War because I don't know why it's the most avoided war. I mean, a lot happened. A lot.
It was 3 years.
It never ended.
It never technically ended.
It's just ceasefire. And that it's been ever since. So
it's how we got North and South Korea. It's how that happened.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so there's actually a couple things, and obviously there have to be about Rangers. So, so basically, and back then there was no Ranger battalions. It was all Ranger companies.
Would they just get attached or sent to different areas?
No, they were just Ranger companies, man. I think there was. This is getting.
So they hadn't consolidated into the three main.
Regiment, no.
Okay, Ranger Regiment.
It was just Ranger companies. So, and it's either, this one always screws me up. It's either there was 13 in Korea, or that was in Vietnam, or there was 16. They flip flop, I believe so. But anyways, so you ever heard of Colonel Ralph Puckett Jr.?
Never.
Okay, he actually is the most recent Medal of Honor recipient.
Wow.
Finally, just received the Medal of Honor, and this was like a couple months ago. And he was born in 1926.
Wow.
So this guy's old, and I remember this guy because he was literally. He goes to every single Ranger school beginning. So he'll sit there and he'll gather everybody around and just talk to you and be like, this is Ranger school. This is what you got to do. And
wow.
Yeah, I remember he was when I started Ranger school, we got us all around. We listened to this guy because during the Korean War, he received the Distinguished Service Cross for the Battle of Hill 205. So it was basically, I'll read you a little bit about this.
Go for it.
So
that's crazy.
Okay. So 5. Let's see. Okay. Though outnumbered 10-1, the twice wounded First Lieutenant Puckett and his Rangers defeated 5 successive Chinese human wave counterattacks for 4 hours that night and into early morning hours of November 26. Finally, on the 6th assault, with supporting artillery fires unavailable, the Ranger Company was left unable to move. Despite multiple orders to abandon him, fellow Rangers fought their way to his side, evacuated him to safety. For his actions during the Battle of 205, First Lieutenant Puckett received the Distinguished Honor Cross and was later upgraded to Medal of Honor and awarded on May 21st, 2021. 70 years later.
Dude.
Yeah, so that was crazy. I think that would be an awesome movie to make. And then also in the Korean War, the 2nd Ranger Company, so he was in the 8th Company.
Okay.
The 2nd Ranger Company was the only all African American Ranger Company to exist. So,
dude, I never knew about that. Yeah,
exactly.
Man.
So it was all African American.
Dude,
all the brothers,
That's
brother Ranger
awesome,
Squad.
Man.
Yeah,
I love that, man.
Yeah, so
you want to hear stories like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They were the all black, pretty much Ranger Company, and they fought in. They fought in Korean War as well. So I think there's a lot of lineage that is not talked about, especially in the Korean War.
Yeah. That's a good answer, man. It's so funny that you thought of that because that was going to be my answer right off the bat because I just listened to. I took my trip was partially a road trip, so that's the book I listened to there and back.
Yeah,
and it's such a good story, man. And it's just a shame that nobody's ever heard of it.
It is a lot of history that has yet to be made into a movie because there's so much. So many films you can make into a movie about.
Yeah, man. Nowadays. Yeah, we could talk about the Second World War, and and there's been a ton of movies made about that.
Yeah. Come on, Hollywood, Korea.
Korea. Come on,
Korea. Come on, you got to. You got to.
Black Label Media, Trent Luckenbill. I know you're out there. I know you're listening to this right now. Let's make it happen, man.
Absolutely. All right, let's hit this next one.
All right,
this one is Griffiths 111 via YouTube, and he says, or she, we don't discriminate. In your experience, soldiers usually talk about politics, internal and external, or is it not a topic that in general soldiers like to talk about? Did I say that weird?
No, in your experience, do soldiers usually talk about politics, either inside or outside, or is it not something that people generally talk about?
Okay.
You got it right.
Okay, yeah. No, the military likes to talk politics. That's all we fucking do, really. It's really funny, though. It's extremely ironic, because if you think about it, most of the, I don't want to say like left or right, is most of the right is in the military.
Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption.
Yeah, a lot of the military is right. Now there is, that's funny. They're all right. They're right, man.
They are right. There's a lot of right.
Yeah, but so it's very interesting because when there's a left leadership, it's like they are very loud, but in a way that doesn't compromise them. And it's funny because at the end of the day, they still work for them. So like the loudest dudes are like in the military, yet they work for the government.
Interesting.
Yeah,
because when you're in the military, you're working for the government. You have a government job. You know,
a government job,
which is not something people normally they think of like.
You're a soldier.
Yeah. They think,
no, we're government workers.
Yeah, exactly.
We all have the same ID. The DOD people have the same ID.
Yeah, it's the same bureaucracy, or maybe different bureaucracy.
But no, yeah. As far as just to answer the question, yeah, the topic does come up a lot. It does come up a lot. I mean, in fear of repercussions, a lot of the time it's not spoken like past, your level, your level of chain. So it doesn't go up the hierarchy. Obviously, if like I have a problem with what the leaderships are doing, I'm not gonna, as like a private, be like, squad leader or team leader, tell them that I hate what they're doing. Oh, sure, I'll tell him.
Yeah,
all right, here's
that's
squad
gonna work
leader.
out really well.
Little Private Joe Bob is really having a problem with how we're treating him. Oh, okay, I'll tell the platoon sergeant. He'll take care of it. No, it never does.
I'm trying to think of memories and stuff from my time. And I mean, the Army takes all kinds. It's inaccurate to think that it's just a bunch of right wing good old boys that join. Everybody, there's people takes all kinds. Join the military and stuff. People have all sorts of opinions across the broad spectrum and stuff like that. The one thing I think that is in common is that they all signed up, to do a job. A lot of people sign up for. I met a lot of people in the military that did not sign up with any intention of wanting to go to war or wars. No, they sign up for maybe the packages, the education, the benefits.
Everybody has a different reason.
They have a career path. I knew one guy where like he had a specific career path that led into he wanted to do things in the Hollywood industry, and he signed up for the military to serve and learn a certain skill set so that he could specifically go into the Hollywood entertainment industry.
Was he like Comcam or something?
No, it was explosives.
Oh, he wanted to be like an explosive guy.
Yeah, and he not patriotic, nothing like no. This is a career path that I've specifically chosen to do.
That's
and so no, man, it's in SF, like people, everybody's opinion matters because it's a small team. Everybody, what you do affects everybody else to a greater degree. I just remember a lot of just guys very eloquently, good conversation, stuff like that. I feel like I learned a lot. That stereotype is what I had. It's a bunch of right wingers in the Army, when I went into the military, and then it got broken by my time in the military.
It does, and I mean, like you encounter, just like you said, you encounter every single person. I think actually the military is more diverse than at least exposures to different cultures, because you got dudes.
You're right, you do
that are that have an opinion and they're like stuck at home, or they live in the same town the rest of their life and they don't have exposure to like the rest of the world. Because or at least, and when I say the world, not just the world, but the United States, because the United States is a mixing bowl in itself.
Sure it is.
So I mean, you can't go anywhere and be like, oh, you must be from Texas because you talk like a Texan. It's like we don't speak the same. We don't have the same. Like the South is different from the West Coast. The East Coast is completely different from the Midwest.
And the South, even within itself, has varying degrees.
Extremely, like Louisiana the accent versus you can
Georgia, Florida.
You can tell Arkansas is extremely heavy. Texans extremely polite.
Yeah, I had never even left the United States before I went to the military. So joining the military actually afforded me. I got to travel even in the United States, Indiana, Hawaii, all that kind of Georgia, North Carolina, all that kind of stuff. But then I also got to go to South Korea and Iraq and Germany.
It's good. It gives you exposure, and it exposes you to different perceptions. So it almost forces you to think differently from where you were raised.
Yeah, so if you're lucky. Yeah,
if you're lucky enough to travel, which I mean, big chances you're going to travel if you join the military. But it doesn't always happen. You can't guarantee. Nothing's a guarantee in the Army or whatever branch. But no, man. I hope that answers your question. What is that? Griffiths.
I feel like I'm getting Harry Potter vibes, but like
Gryffindor. Gryffindor. Nice. All right, and this is what is this? The final question.
Maybe I'll ask you a question, Cam.
Okay.
Aim Valdez 7. on Instagram asked us the question. So I wanted to know if you guys could explain gunshot wounds. Like in the movies, soldiers or action heroes say the bullet went clean through, quote unquote, and then they'll survive. However, in other movies and shows, they'll say the same thing and then they'll die. I just wanted to know what is the fact and what is the myth. This sounds like a very medic-heavy question.
Good thing I have a lot of medical experience.
Go for it, man. What's your take?
Sure, man. So obviously, shot placement and the amount of injury, the mechanism of injury. How did it happen? I mean, we know the mechanisms because it's gunshot wound. Mm-hmm. But typically a clean wound is what you're fighting at that point is the time. You're fighting the clock because massive hemorrhaging is going to take effect, right?
And hemorrhaging is the body losing blood, like losing
Yes.
blood pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
because your body's a closed
blood,
system.
Yeah.
Get that bullet hole in there, now it's open, stuff's leaking out.
It's leaking out, and you need that blood to live.
Yeah.
So, and massive hemorrhaging is the biggest killer on the battlefield. Like, that is number one.
Okay.
And that's why when you're being taught medical stuff, it used to be ABCs, which is like airway, breathing, circulation. And now that's terrible because, you have to treat bullet injury, gunshot wounds first. That's like the first thing. If there's a hole, you got to plug it immediately. And that's why tourniquets are now starting to become SOP, where it's always on your body. But tourniquets only go as far as your extremities, right? Your arms and legs. But if a bullet goes clean
a glowing
through,
bullet hole.
Shot placement, that's where it comes into effect, right? Because if I'm shot anywhere in the box, that's going to be extreme. That's going to be more detrimental than me being shot in the arm or leg, right? Mm-hmm. It takes your blood pressure is, as farther you get from your heart, as lower it is. Okay. So anything in the box where your vital organs are located, it's going to be harder to plug. So especially if you're shot in your lungs, because then you're going to need to patch it with occlusive dressing.
Right.
And then once occlusive dressings are set, then you got to start worrying about tension pneumothorax, and basically, which is your lungs fill up with air, there's nowhere for them to go.
Right.
So they continue to fill and fill and fill, placing more stress on the heart, which ends up strangulating the heart, and you die of cardiac arrest.
Right.
But
new on Curiosity Stream. How do you connect a 16th century potato to limitless energy production? Could Napoleon's toothpick have a direct link to a machine that predicts the future? And how can a 1700s conch shell chart a course to humans connecting their brains to the internet? James Burke's visionary series Connections returns for a new generation. Experience all new Connections. With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
What you're asking here, Aim Valdez, is some of them are correct. Like I said, it all depends on where they're shot, how fast how fast they can treat the wound, how fast they can offer some sort of aid. If it's in the legs, you can basically field craft tourniquets out of, worst example is a belt. But if you have any type of windlass instrument like a stick or even like something just pretty solid, you can rip t-shirts into two bands, and all you do is wrap the t-shirt above the wound like a tourniquet, do a little knot, put the windlass on top, and do another knot on top of that and start twisting it. Okay. And that can act as a tourniquet. Then you use another piece of cloth to basically just tie that windlass in place. So that's like an improvised tourniquet. But if it's shot in the box, you honestly, you're not going to pack it, because you're never going to pack in the box at all. You just got to have to cover it and basically cover both
Never going to
sides.
pack in a box.
Don't pack it.
Because what we're talking about with packing, like just stuffing maybe
stuffing
cloth
like
or anything
or
in there,
gauze,
gauze, to pack it up to hold that pressure.
Yeah, because when you're packing towards vital organs. There's a lot of things in there that you can pack towards. Plus, the box is pretty open. Yeah. So if you're packing, there's infinite, well, not infinite, because it depends how big the person is, but there's a lot of space for that gauze to go, and it can create problems. So you never really want to pack in the box. So what you have to do is use occlusive dressings, which are just some sort of plastic, some sort of there's been examples of people using MRE bags as occlusive dressing. You just duct tape on each side make sure the wound is, clean, wait till they exhale, and then fucking wipe the blood and slap that thing on there. But then if there's an exit wound, or if there's an entrance wound, there is an exit wound, most likely. So you always got to check the back too. But that's pretty much what you got to worry about, is just timing. How fast can I treat this person? Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Usually there's obviously there's artistic license and stuff like that. But when it comes to the real world, no, the considerations you're talking about are really important.
Yeah.
And what I like about your explanation is it's the simplest one. Like it's lowest common denominator. Everybody, we got one concept that we're working with, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're on the battlefield, you don't got a lot of time, you know, and it's things could be happening and stuff. So it's like, what's the baseline, bare minimum thing that we have to do in order to save your life? You know, it's not pretty, but it is effective, right? You know,
yeah. We just want to stabilize until we can get to higher care.
Yeah,
like we're not gonna cure you of your gunshot or your broken leg or your head injury or your blast injury right then and there. It's obviously going to take some time, and you need to recover, and you need to seek higher medical attention. That's why we're always flying them to put them on the table. But what we offer right then and there is basically just stabilizing medicine. The format we use is called MARCH, right? It's massive hemorrhaging, airway, respiration, circulation, and then hypothermia, head injury, and then evacuation. So what I was pretty much taught is MAR, get them the fuck out of here. That's the acronym we taught. So it's just like treat massive hemorrhaging, make sure they're breathing, make sure they don't have any signs of tension pneumothorax, and if they do, needle decompressions, and then put them on the litter and get them out of there, get them exfilled as fast as possible. But yeah, I mean, I've seen dudes come in on the table that were shot multiple times. I've seen dudes with double tourniquets on both legs blown off, like shot multiple times in the box, and they've survived. So it's all time. It's all time dependent. And I guess in this question more specifically is, movies portray like weapons. Like you get shot once, you're dead.
Right. They die instantly. It's like an off
like,
button.
Boom, immediately dead. Yeah. And realistically, it just comes down to shot placement, number of times. And it's all about shot placement.
There's a popular myth out there, I think, talking about the kind of bullet depends on, like the caliber of bullet. So not necessarily, because it all depends on how it impacts the body and what it impacts.
And everyone thinks the bigger the bullet, the more damage. So that's not always the case, because if you think about our rifles, 5.56, it's a really high velocity round. So that round isn't gonna, it's gonna go in and immediately out. It's traveling so fast, it's almost a maiming round. So that's why, one shot with a M4 typically won't do it. That's why we always, bang, 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 bang. But
seven in the chest, 14 in the head. Yeah,
exactly. But I mean, to keep it realistic, if you really want to know, that's what it is, man.
Yeah.
But then you think about a smaller round, which is like a 5.45, which is like an AK-74 round. Now that thing's deadly. That thing, it's smaller. So as it gets terminal, it starts tumbling. So right when it hits the person, that round is more likely to start tumbling. So
which means it could tear up the body as it goes through a little bit.
It becomes a fucking table saw, essentially, and it goes in. So you can see someone get shot by a 5.45 in their stomach, and it comes out their neck.
Right, because it's moving around the body because it's meeting that obstruction and then taking a different pathway.
It's tumbling. So that round that's a deadly round. And then, I mean, you can go into it, because then there's the whole debate between 9mm and 40mm, and they're like, what's better? And it's just like, there's not a lot of evidence. I mean, people say 40 is more penetrating for barriers and stuff, but it's
interesting.
It is very interesting. So
it's a whole conversation.
There's ballistics. You want to get into ballistics? We can get into ballistics.
Yeah.
But I'd bring in some experts, because I'm not the best at ballistics. I just shoot the gun, man, and hope it works.
There is a whole world that I've been introduced to of gun enthusiasts. There's the popular perception that if you're in the military, you're a gun expert. That's not the case. It's a hobby like anything else. Yeah. There's an area of knowledge. It's an area of knowledge, broadly speaking, and then within that area of knowledge, there are subsets of knowledge. There are different lanes that people are into, whether it's firearms and old and new firearms, whether it's types of bullet calibers and stuff like that, and then era, and then make, and then have you heard anything about the NGSW, the new weapon that they're looking for, the next generation squad weapon that they're looking to replace, like the M4 and the SAW and stuff like that?
SIG stuff.
Yeah, 6.8mm. I was just watching a video the other day.
Yeah, the one where it's like the plastic bullets.
Yeah, it's like a plastic, polymer case with a metal bullet, and then there's one where it looks like just a little tube, but because the bullet is encased within its own carrying case.
It's very interesting.
Yeah,
it's just always fighting for the newest and greatest and innovative. Maybe not field. I don't know. That's gonna be an interesting thing. That new following that contract, who's gonna get it? But
right.
It would be very interesting to see if that actually fold through. Because I mean, I've heard a lot of issues with the whole polymer thing. At least
Yeah.
you never got to pick up brass anymore, huh?
Right, and they're talking about the weight was like a big
Yeah, the weight's a
consideration,
big
you know.
consideration.
But then also how they're made. But somebody was saying like the technology of polymer bullets is advanced. So it used to be you could squeeze them and then they could fall apart. But like, but yeah, the weight thing is is a consideration. And then like, yeah, it's just
You got to know burning polymer is healthy in the long run.
Oh right, yeah, the something there was something about the powder and stuff like that, or the heat that is retained inside the weapon. Whereas with the brass, that brass gets hot and it's ejected from the weapon as you fire a bullet. But then with the polymer, polymer doesn't take up any heat. So where's that heat go? Well, it stays in the barrel and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's interesting all of the different aspects that you have to consider. That these companies have to consider, and then also just all the politics that I'm sure gets involved. Who's got the lobby? Who's got the ear of the senator and stuff like that? Sometimes it's not even the best weapon that makes it in. Because you've talked about the saw often enough. You're like, saw is not a good weapon.
Like, it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends. Yeah, that whole thing. Just like when they took up the so the Army. You ever seen the M17? It's the new military pistol that replaced the Beretta.
No.
Which is weird because we got Glocks in regiment. We got Glock 19s.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then the Army picked up the M17, and I've had the pleasure of using both now. And like the M17 is good, but I remember the 19X, which is a Glock, which is basically a 19 slide with a 17 frame, was also in the running. And I like that pistol way better than, but this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
And plus, like the M17, like when they won the contract, they actually changed the piece after winning the contract to save money, and the pistol ended up being diarrhea. Like you would drop it and it would go off. And like it would, like a lot of safety hazard, like the pistol would break all the time. So they're like, what the fuck, you gypped us, thing.
Oh man!
But I mean, it's a decent pistol now. But there are much better pistols out there for less money. Yeah, in my opinion. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's interesting.
I just work here.
I'm just happy to be here, man.
And it's fun. I like how you brought up the comment with like you can be in the military. That doesn't make you a gun expert by any means. Yeah. That is so freaking true. Like everyone thinks of like that should have been in the stereotype episode. Man. Literally, everybody thinks you're like a firearms expert if you're in the military. Like. No, you only know someone is really proficient or knows what they're doing. This is a really big indicator of like I can tell right off the bat if someone like has any sort of knowledge just by looking how they set up their plate carrier.
Interesting.
Yeah. How they set up, how they run their stuff. Mm-hmm. Like you can tell right off the bat that someone has general knowledge of how to do it correctly just by looking at how they set their stuff up. Like that's a big indicator.
I have recommitted myself since actually breaking into like the public like content creation space, the online space to rebuild my knowledge base. You and I have talked about this. Like, I have no kid. I haven't been on the range in quite a while. As far as like focused, formatted, streamlined training, like the latest and greatest stuff. Because most of the knowledge that I have is 11 years old because that's when I got out of the military. You know, but I want to rebuild that knowledge base and stuff like that. Almost not because like. That's what a Green Beret would know necessarily, unless he was like an 18 Bravo or something like that. But I have an image of my mind of what I believe a Green Beret, the honor of a Green Beret, the integrity of a Green Beret would be. And to me, that
the gods of
the Green Beret have dubbed me. They require at least some weapons knowledge and stuff like that. And my community and stuff they've been really great because they're all gun enthusiasts too, So they send me articles and videos and all the Garand Thumb stuff like that,
Garand Thumb's great. We need to get him on this podcast.
Let's get him on the podcast.
Get him on the podcast. Put him down. But yeah, dude, it's interesting, to say the least, but we'll get you there.
Yeah, thanks, man.
We'll get you there, don't worry. But I think that wraps up the questions, right? We kind of went off on a tangent there, as we usually do.
That's okay. This entire episode has been a tangent.
Yeah.
We saved our tangents for this episode.
Aim Valdez 7, we hope we answered your question.
Yeah, thanks.
Somewhere in that entire dialogue.
I'm sure they will be very happy. If they're not, deal with it. But what do you say, man?
Recess has been canceled due to lack of hustles. Deal with it.
The beatings will continue until morale improves.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, I knew what you were about to say. And I agree.
The game.
Let's play the game.
The greatest game. The deadliest game.
And I think this game is going to be ran by the lovely Chris.
He is a lovely man.
It is. Oh, and thank you. You guys are so complimentary. This game is called What Number Am I Thinking of?
7.
That was the quickest game ever.
All right, well, that wraps it up. Okay.
Thank you for watching.
All right, cue music!
No, instead of trying to guess what number I'm thinking of, I'm going to say the name of a franchise, and you have to tell me which one in the franchise, like which number in the franchise, I think is the best one, and also which one I think is the worst.
Cool, man.
Oh, man.
Do we get a warm-up round? This sounds like
There
I'm
is a
gonna have to
warm-up
think
round. There is
a little
100% a warm-up round. Are we ready?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not as hard as you think. It's harder.
Okay.
So the warm-up is Indiana Jones.
Okay.
So which one of those do you think I think is the best, and which one of those do you think I think is the worst?
I think this is a good warm-up because I think this is pretty easy.
Yeah, the worst one is Crystal Skulls, obviously.
Crystal
That
Skull,
one was an
Kingdom of the Crystal
abortion.
That is correct.
Yes.
I think that Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls is a dumpster fire. So
Yes.
which one do I think is the best?
I think you think Last Crusade is the best one.
Yeah,
Number
I'm gonna
3
agree.
in the franchise.
The third one is the best.
That is incorrect. I think Raiders of the Lost Ark is the best one.
Oh,
for
that's
what
not even an
reason?
Indiana Jones movie
What?
because it doesn't say Indiana Jones in the title.
It's Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I know. But
Get outta here.
when it first came out, it was called Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Whatever. Anyway, great warm-up round. That just shows you just how difficult this is going to be. Are we
man.
ready?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. The first franchise is the Alien franchise, including Prometheus and
Covenant.
Covenant, but not the AVP part.
Okay. So we
I
got
don't know what
Alien,
your guys'
Aliens,
problem
Alien
is,
3,
man. I like
Prometheus, and
AVP.
Alien Covenant.
That's just mixing too many. It's like I like
Okay.
steak, but I don't consider a hamburger a steak, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's mixed,
Unless
it's
you go
ground
to
up.
Freddy's.
There is a soft spot in my heart for Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, but that's just me.
Okay.
Well, that's the spot I'll aim for then.
All right. So we're saying I'm just
What do you think is? Which one do you think I think is the best one?
I don't
Which
know that
number?
I don't. I think I'm morally obligated to only say
the second.
the second one. Actually, you know what? We're thinking about you. This is about you, Chris. So I'm gonna say your favorite one is Alien, the first one.
Cam, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with the second one. I rewatched the second one. It's great.
It is the second one. The second one's clearly the best one.
Should have went with my instincts.
Clearly the best one. Alien, good, different kind of movie though. Aliens, just a fantastic movie.
And then to finish this sucker off and baste her, Covenant's the worst.
I would also say Covenant's the worst.
I think Prometheus is the worst.
Oh, that would have been my
Prometheus,
next choice.
The whole the ship rolling and she's running away from it directly in the path that it's rolling. I was
Yeah.
like, just turn left or right.
Yeah.
Also,
Zigzag.
the scientist guy who's a biologist and he takes his glove off to touch an alien life form and then it attacks him.
and the cartographer who gets lost.
Yes.
Even with the technology that he's losing.
Yes, it's like they acquired the stupidest team to go on this mission.
Everyone's
Yeah.
an idiot
Yeah,
because
everyone's
the
an
story
idiot.
needs to
So
happen.
that movie bothered me a lot. Also because they insisted that it was not an alien movie, and I was like, this is very clearly an alien movie.
Yeah.
Okay. The Halo franchise.
Halo franchise.
Which one do I think is the best, and which one do I think is the worst?
Number 3 is the best.
Only because that's what I've heard from multiple people in my online community. I will also say Halo 3 is the best.
I do think that Halo 3 is the best one.
Okay.
Which one do I think is the worst?
Halo 2.
I'm gonna have to go with Cameron on this one just because I don't have.
I
experience.
also think it's Halo 2.
Hey, you're one
100%.
There we go,
Which
man.
Halo 2, still a lot of fun. I still think it's a great game, but I had to pick one.
Yeah, it's Halo 2. It's just like,
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
alright.
it's fine.
yeah, it's fine. It's not bad. It's just like
It's just that ODST was better, Reach was better, and the
Reach was
first one
great.
is the
Yeah,
first
the
one.
first one's
so.
OG.
Why is 3 generally perceived to be the best one out of all those?
So they just did a really good job with it. You know, it was like the culmination, like Infinity War was for the MCU.
Fair
just
enough.
Many years leading up to it.
Cool.
All right, the Expendables.
The Expendables,
Ooh.
the Dependables.
To me, this franchise actually has gotten better. Like the John Wick series, to me, each successive one has gotten better. I've liked them more.
I should have put John Wick on here. Damn. Okay. Anyway,
We can do a bonus round. Expendables. I like. Which is the one that had Jean-Claude Van Damme in it? Was that the second one?
I believe so.
I really liked that one. I'm going to say the second one.
Cam?
Is your favorite one.
I'm gonna say it's numero uno. Expendables the first.
Okay.
The first one.
It's number 2.
It's number
Expendables
2. I'll be honest, I haven't seen. I have seen the second, but it was like one of those movies where you just put it on in the background.
Right. I've seen them all in the theater, but only once, and it was years ago, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, which one's the worst?
I'm gonna say
No.
the third one, just as a guess.
You're saying the first one as well?
Yes.
Way to stick to your guns, but it's the third one.
Okay.
The third one's the worst one.
Okay.
It was a weird tactic, but I like your strategy.
I'm thinking outside the box.
You
had
are. I
a
appreciate your
33%
strategy.
shot. You know?
Exactly.
They're making another one, right?
They
are, and they're adding.
Which Sylvester Stallone's like 78 now.
He's got to stop, man.
So he's taking those horse steroids, man.
He's gonna
Yeah.
die.
Steroids.
Yeah, steroids, superhuman.
Star Wars franchise.
Ugh.
Oh
Does this
man.
include like
Rogue One or
Rogue
like,
One, 6, 7?
This is 1 through 9.
This is 1 through 9. I'm not including Rogue One, although in
Rogue
hindsight
One's
I
the
should have
best
because
one.
I do really enjoy Rogue One.
Okay.
But this is just the Skywalker saga, as they call it.
The Skywalker saga.
So which one do I think is the best? And you don't have to get the number. You can be in the order that they came out. It doesn't have to be the actual number of the movie.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say your favorite, the best one that you think is the best one that you think is the best.
Well, no, it's not just the one I think is the best. Maybe I should have clarified. It is the best.
It is the best.
My opinion is correct.
Objectively speaking,
Yeah.
well then I'm gonna say Return of the Jedi, or Empire Strikes Back.
Number
Instead of
5?
Strikes Back,
Number
which would
5,
be number
Empire
5.
Strikes Back.
Yes, that's what I was going to say as well.
That is correct. That is objectively the best one.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and say number 1 is the worst one.
This is tough.
Phantom Menace,
Number
Oh,
one,
I'm sorry, that's with Darth Maul. Number 2. No, wait.
Attack of the Clones.
or Revenge of the Sith.
Well, the
I'll go
first-
ahead and give you a clue. This is a twofer. I think 2 kind of tie for being the worst one.
Okay, now I'm gonna this one's whack because Jar Jar Binks fucking sucks, and like that whole. It's the only thing about number 1 is it has Darth Maul in it, and that's like
yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say number 1 because it's terrible. It's like at the point where it's like they're starting to experiment with CGI, but they haven't quite figured it out.
Sure, it doesn't hold up well.
Yeah.
This is tough for me because I think all of the entire sequel trilogy, 7, 8, 9, are garbage.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those ones too. Never mind.
You block them from your mind because
I have because I was like, they don't exist.
Yeah,
because they suck.
I'm gonna say the worst one, the objectively worst one, is 9.
I'm gonna say 8.
Rise of
right
Skywalker.
before that.
When
she's,
Last
like,
Jedi and
working-
Rise of Skywalker, Garbaggio.
Yeah, when she's working with Luke, right? In the
Oh,
number 8.
you mean knowing everything and not
Immediately?
not really needing Luke, and Luke is like a cynical old man
Yeah,
that went to
and-
that island to die.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
he's really negative.
yeah, he's
A lot
really
of strong feelings coming from Israel.
but I don't really care.
No, number 8. Then I'm going with number 8.
I'm gonna go with number
the
9.
tie is between number 2, Attack of the Clones,
Oh, okay.
because that one is hot garbage. And then it is number 9, Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, it
Because
is.
Rise of Skywalker, I tried to I saw it in the theater, and then I rewatched it on Disney Plus, and it is just stupid.
It's the worst.
Like every 5 minutes, I was like, "Well, why are they doing that? Why are there horses in space? Like, why are there
There's
horses in a
space?
No. That at the final battle on that planet, I forget the name of the planet.
Nobody cares.
They use horses to attack,
On the surface of a
cruiser.
Star Destroyer.
Yeah, a Star Destroyer, and I was
Where
like,
did they get these horses?
from
Well, they brought it from
the planet where the Death Star
had crashed. Yeah.
Did they import the horses?
They were on a ship, and I was like, you already have a ship. It's garbage. It's just, it's hot garbage. And also,
Okay.
why was he cloned? Anyway. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Number 2 and number 9, the worst. Although number 8, also not great. Number 1, also really bad. Number 3, Revenge of the Sith.
I
Pretty
like
good.
Revenge of the General Kenobi.
Hello there.
Hello there.
All right, the
You're
Predator
a Boba.
franchise, not including AVP again, but the Predator franchise.
It's amazing how many of these there have been. Because
I think there's 5.
Is there
There's
5?
There's 5.
So you got
Predator,
1,
Predator
2,
2,
Predators.
Predators, the Predator.
The Predator.
Wait, which one am I forgetting?
Oh, maybe there's only 4.
I think there's only 4 because there's Predators and then the most recent one.
The Predator.
I'm gonna go and say original is your favorite.
Original's the best one.
Yeah, that is the best.
I think there's
one.
This is an
objectively.
easy one.
Yeah.
It's
It
a
is
scientifically accurate answer.
It might be one of the best action movies
ever
ever.
created. Yes.
So which one do I think is the worst?
I think that you think is it's the last one that was made, and I only say that because he wears his tan beret like shit.
They never get the berets right,
and it's
man.
my least favorite one. Is the most recent one.
So you're saying the Predator.
I'm going to say the last one as well. It's garbage.
You're correct.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons, but the main one is the beret. It bugged the shit out of me.
Yeah, like, he can't even wear his tampons.
I'm joking,
He's got
Cameron.
Really
I don't
long
even know
hair.
what you're talking about.
I'll bring up a picture of this right now.
I just love how the main antagonist guy from This Is Us. He has the Predator shoulder mounted motion, the laser cannon thing, and he turns his head too much and blows his own head off.
Yeah.
Because I hear they couldn't get him back for reshoots, so they had to kill him.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's called
Classic.
The Predator.
The Predator.
All
And
right.
it's too bad because the guy who
That
was with the glasses,
Shane
Shane
Black,
Black, was in the first one.
Yeah, he
I don't know
wrote
why
the
I thought.
first
I don't
one.
know why I thought that would mean that he would make a good Predator movie.
Well, it's because he wrote the first one, and he wrote a lot of action movies.
He did. He
All right.
did.
You guys did really well. You did a lot better than I thought you were going to do.
That's great.
Which shows that you guys know my sensibilities better.
We do.
Now, do you want to attempt this bonus round?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
So this one,
Does
this
a
one's a
bear
little
shit in
harder
the
because
woods?
these are older movies.
Oh, okay, cool.
But the franchise is the Man with No Name trilogy.
The Man with No. I've never even heard of this.
That's
movie.
the Clint Eastwood westerns. The Sergio
Oh,
Leone.
so it's The
man.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly,
Your favorite?
a fistful of dollars, and then a few dollars more.
Correct. Those
Okay.
are
Oh
the
my
three.
God. I'm just
Old-
going to be like, yeah, Tombstone.
So,
Classic spaghetti westerns.
Yeah.
so which one do you think is my favorite of those three?
All right, Israel, you get
I gotta say, I'm
Or-
gonna say The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly,
He's going the good, the bad, and the ugly.
and then I'm gonna say the worst one is a few dollars more, because it's almost it feels like it's the same plot as the fistful of dollars.
That is incorrect. My favorite one is for a few dollars more.
Oh,
Because I love the pocket watch part, the
Exactly.
showdown at the end where they shoot each other when the music stops.
Mhm.
And Fistful of Dollars is my least favorite one.
oh wow. Okay.
I love the good, the bad, and the ugly, but I love for a few dollars more.
Was the fistful of dollars? Wasn't that
It goes
a remake?
Fistful of Dollars. It's
Yojimbo,
Yojimbo,
the Japanese samurai.
which then they remade into Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis, where it's set. They're like gangsters in the 30s.
Oh my
It's the
gosh.
exact same story. They've made it 1,000 times.
Yeah, yeah.
Since we're on the topic of westerns really quick, there's been a western I've been trying to find for the longest time, and I'm just going to explain to you the plot and see if you can help me really quick.
Okay.
I guess this is a game too.
Yeah, this is also a game.
Okay, so they're in the western times,
Okay.
and
Narrows it down.
then there's a competition. It's like a showdown competition.
Oh,
It's
the good, the bad, and
Dead.
the quick and the dead.
The Quick and the Dead. Sharon Stone's in it.
Yeah,
Russell
she's-
Crowe.
Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman.
and they,
Yeah.
okay.
Leonardo
The Quick and the
DiCaprio,
Dead. A very
The
young
Quick and
Leonardo.
the Dead.
directed
Yep.
by Sam
And the
Raimi.
main character is the lady, right?
Yeah, it's Sharon Stone.
Okay.
That's a pretty good one. I remember that being pretty good.
It's not bad. All right, good job, gentlemen. I'm really disappointed in the bonus round, but what can you do?
That's fine.
But yeah, you guys did really well. I'm proud of you.
Thanks,
That was
Chris.
fun. I
Proud
love
to call
these
you my
games, man.
friends.
Thank you.
Oh,
We're your
thank
friends
God.
too.
Well, folks, we really, really, really appreciate you joining us. Not just really, really, but really, really, really appreciate you joining us. Thanks for listening, and we release a new episode of the podcast every Wednesday, as you know. We also release the video version on our YouTube page, Pop Culture Field Manual on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies even. I'm sure they need to get out more and have more entertainment
Yeah,
in their
because
lives.
literally the enemy of my enemy is your friend.
That's right.
So that would make your enemies our friends.
Yeah,
Right?
something. You can write us in and let us know.
Okay. And
But
speaking of that, write us at PCFMpodcast@gmail.com.
Great segue.
We'd love to hear from you. That was a great transition. That was good. This improv, we're getting really good at this
we're really
improv
good.
thing.
We have
We're
a
getting-
thing going.
It's good. We don't take classes either. Every Wednesday.
Folks, if you want to hang out with me a little bit more, go to twitch.tv/myhappyself. That's my Twitch stream. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Good times.
And if you would like to check out my streetwear brand, Kit God, you can find us on Kit God Apparel on Instagram or on our website at www.kitgodapparel.com. Thank you again for listening.
We love you. Get out of here.
Kill me.